How's an Arsenal team who have been in title contention for many years before, suddenly in a situation where Craig says they get a nice win away against Crystal Palace, but still the big takeaway is how far they are off the pace?
Well, it's really down to not bringing enough good players in. I mean, you saw this game today, and there was absolutely nothing dynamic at any stage about Arsenal, and it's kind of been the same all season. There's nothing dynamic about them. You know, we used to be able to say that they moved the ball well and they created. They're just kind of, they're getting it done. They got it done today, but, you know, certainly compared to City, but compared to some other teams as well, they're way off the pace.
Well, look, last night I thought that they would win the game, but I thought it would be a much better. I thought Palace would offer more. They've been playing reasonably well. Roy Hodgson's got them off the bottom of the table more or less, you know, in sort of a, you know, playing in some sort of a rhythm. But they didn't really show. Arsenal should have had this game dead and buried in the first half. Absolutely no two ways about that. And the same thing happened again with Arsenal. The mental frailties, whether it's the quality coming in from the management, player-wise, or there's just mental strength. They give a poor goal away. There's nobody tracking Townsend on the edge of the box when he buries it. So you think, oh, here we go again. And all of a sudden, the game that should have been a comfortable game for Arsenal, if they play up to their levels, it wasn't a comfortable game. And it was a little bit boring, to be honest. I mean, when Tompkins comes in at the end on the far post, you think, OK, what's going to happen? They go zonal. Nobody marks them. Nobody attacks the ball. Absolutely ridiculous defending, and it's not going to change.
Last night you were thinking about who was going to win the game.
Yeah.
Last night I was thinking about throwing myself off a really large bridge, thinking about we're having to lead the show with this today again. And we have to, and I understand it. But this is where we are. This was a good result for Arsenal away from home.
Yep.
But in the context of this football club and the chasing pack of Manchester City, they're nothing more than a club and a team and a manager full of excuses at the moment that will probably, and we haven't heard the press conference from Arsene Wenger just yet, will have some mention of Pep Guardiola and Manchester City's spending.
Guardiola.
Him as well.
He's spending as well.
So what are we supposed to say? Wasn't it a good night for Crystal Palace? Because they're fighting relegation. They probably will be all right. Good result for Arsenal on the road in the context of an away win. But what's the big picture here for these clubs?
How's about we forget about Man City? Otherwise, you're not going to last to the end of the season. You're going to have a heart attack or throw yourself off that bridge or whatever it is you're going to do.
It might not make the end of the game.
It might not make the end of this bloody show, for God's sake.
If we're going to compare everybody to Manchester City, then we've no chance.
Well, that's what we need to do.
At the same time, I mean, you talk about two sides of the coin. Arsenal and Manchester City.
You just said stop comparing people to Manchester City.
You did.
I did.
Forget about them.
I did.
Forget them. They're not in the title. It's 19 teams. City don't exist.
I did, but if Arsenal want to get in the top four,
Right,
then they have to do something in January, which seems pretty unlikely because the team they have right now, and certainly the starting 11 they have right now, hasn't got a hope, in my opinion, of getting in the top four and don't deserve to be. You know, if you look at the table, they're 1 point off the top four.
Yeah.
But as far as the way they play the game, as far as the dynamics of the team, they're way behind the others.
The thing is, when Roy Hodgson must have saw that team sheet tonight, Chambers playing on the right-hand side of that three. That's tailor-made for Zaha to go and absolutely carve him apart. So Chambers goes and gets himself a yellow card. We said when we were watching it, feed Zaha, feed him, and let him go at Chambers. They never did it. They didn't do enough of it. Now, you look at the protection. You know, let's go back to about talking about the players that Arsenal have brought in. Wilshere and Granit Xhaka protecting that back three was ridiculous. I've never seen so much space given. But the ball...
But they won the game.
Palace won at the races, I'll give you that. But that ball should have been going into Benteke all day long and spinning off the back and Kabay. They didn't do it,
The fact they won the game is more to do with Palace, isn't it? I mean, like, what decent team is going to look at that?
Surely it's more to do with Alexis Sanchez.
The only thing I'm interested in with Arsenal is the Europa League, which I'm never normally interested in.
You're never interested in the Europa.
I might be if Arsenal go a bit further. I don't know. We'll give it time. Take a few tablets, see what happens. And what happens with Ozil, what happens with Sanchez. We know what's going to happen with Wenger because he'll be there next season. So these are the kind of things that are going to push the Arsenal narrative in the next couple of months what's going to happen with some of the key players and who they're going to sign, who they're going to lose, what's going to happen with, as you mentioned, Sanchez, who still has a big key.
But he's going to go, isn't he?
Yeah, and why wouldn't he go? Why would he not leave a club at the moment who are in a rut in terms of where they want to go, right? Why wouldn't he? As soon as Wenger signed that contract last year, the writing was on the wall. So,
But
expected to go.
Sanchez was offered that.
Will it be City? I don't know.
Sanchez was offered the contract after they got done 10-2 on aggregate with Bayern. He said, "No, this is not for me." So the writing's been on the wall as far as he's concerned for quite some time. But he just didn't go. He thought he was going to go in the summer window. It didn't happen.
I think we'd all agree that Sanchez is going to go, right?
Yes.
So why don't we think Ozil's going to go? Can you imagine being Ozil? Can you imagine Ozil in the summer sticks a World Cup winners medal in his pocket and then goes back to Arsenal? If you're a player, why would you do that? Why are you going to go and win the World Cup and then going back and play with a team who you know have got little chance either of winning the Premier League and maybe not even getting in the top four? Why would Ozil do that?
See, but
I wouldn't.
Arsenal have won a game tonight away from home in South London. We've all played at Selhurst Park. I tell you what, it's always generally not an easy night down there.
Yeah.
And they've won a game. But I think certainly where I'm coming from here is that all these coaches and all this money, I'm trying to say his name right, but Guardiola.
Correct.
Guardiola this season is
Please
making...
don't say that every time.
Yeah.
Call him Pep. He's just making a mockery of the rest. He's making a mockery of the rest at the moment. And I'm not talking about the smaller guys. I'm talking about the so-called big guns. And all we keep hearing from the other teams, pre-match press conference, post-match press conference, is spending.
Yeah.
That's all we keep hearing. It's so boring. It's so boring because these guys need... I said it last night and I'll say it again and I'll say it tomorrow because I want tomorrow. They need to get their ducks in a row.
Wanting coach. Pep's coaching.
Yeah.
That's the big thing. Pep is actually coaching. And every single player that's ever played for them will tell you that. And the rest of them are all crying about the money.
See what the fullbacks are doing?
We said it yesterday.
Fullbacks tucking in when they've got possession and they get an extra midfielder, squeezing on to win the ball back in a certain period of time, working as units. Centre-halves have got better. Every area of that Man City team has got better, regardless of what they've spent, right? No other team. Is there another team outside the top boys that we can say that for?
There we are.
Why are you laughing?
Because we're talking about Manchester City again. We've gone full circle.
Should we talk about Arsenal sitting in sixth place?